Hello viewers, welcome to our channel African Tales by AB. Please support us by giving this video a thumbs up, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you. Once upon a time, in the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, nestled between towering mountain verse and enchanted forests, they once thrived a civilization known for its prosperity and wisdom. Eldoria's people were kind and resourceful, living in harmony under the benevolent rule of King Eldric. Eldric was a wise and just ruler, beloved by his people. His reign was marked by peace, innovation, and the flourishing of the land and its people. However, this era of peace was shattered by the rise of an evil sorcerer named Malgath. Driven by an evil thirst for power, Malgath coveted the throne. Using his dark magic, he poisoned King Eldric and all his heirs. There he seized control of Eldoria. The kingdom fell under a shadow and a dark age began. Malgath's path to power was paved with betrayal and dark sorcery. As a young man, he was apprenticed to the royal court sorcerer, learning both evil and good magic. His innate talent was evident, but so was his ambition. Malgath delved into forbidden magics, seeking power beyond mortal comprehension. He discovered an ancient grimoire, said to contain the knowledge of the darkest spells. Through its pages, he learned to manipulate the elements, control minds, and even summon entities from other realms. With his newfound power, he bided his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Malgath infiltrated the royal palace, poisoned the king, and with his dark magic, slaughtered the royal heirs. The kingdom, caught off guard and leaderness, fell into chaos. Malgath declared himself king, and through fear and intimidation, he established his reign. King Malgath's rule was marked with pure wickedness. His first act was to debauch the council of elders and replace them with his own loyal warriors, who were as ruthless as their master. Heavy taxes were imposed on the people, driving many into abject poverty. Those who dared to resist or speak against Malgath were executed publicly, their body displayed as a grim reminder of the king's power. Malgath's dark sorcery was his most formidable weapon. He could conjure storms that ravaged the land and manipulate the minds of his enemies, turning friends and family against one another. Eldoria, once a land of light and prosperity, became a realm of shadows and despair. To enforce his decree, Malgath formed the Black Guard, an elite group of soldiers trained both in combat and dark arts, clad in obsidian armors. Their presence struck fear into the hearts of the people. They patrolled the streets, rooting out dissent and ensuring that Malgath's will was absolute. Far from the oppressive gaze of the Black Guard, in a small village on the outskirts of Eldoria, lived a boy named Aric. Aric was no ordinary boy. Even at a young age, he exhibited a rare combination of bravery and kindness. His parents, Elder and Garrick, were humble farmers who taught him the value of hard work, compassion, and justice. Despite the hardship they faced, under King Malgath's rule, they instilled in Aric a deep-seated sense of right and wrong. One fateful day, as Aric tended to the fields, he heard shouts from the village square. Curious, he rushed to see what was going on. There he saw the Black Guard demanding exorbitant taxes from the villagers. Anger welled up within him as he watched his friends and neighbors cower in fear. As the Black Guard's threat grew more menacing, a mysterious figure appeared in the village square. Glan, in a tattered hooked claw, the stranger exuded an aura of quiet strength, stepped forward, placing himself between the villagers and the soldiers. The captain of the Blackguard sneezed and said to the stranger, "Who dares to invade when the Blackguards are?" With a calm, measured voice, the stranger replied, "I am Elara, once a sorcerer of the royal court, and I will not stand by while you terrorize this people." With a wave of his hand, Elara conjured a blinding light that forced the Blackguard to retreat. The villagers watched in awe as the soldiers, bewildered and frightened, fled the village. When the light faded, Elara turned to face the villagers, his eyes, though weary, shone with determination. Aric, mesmerized by the stranger's power and courage, approached him. "Who are you truly?" he asked, "and why have you come here?" Elara smiled kindly and said, "I once served under King Eldric before Malgath's tragedy. I have been in hiding, waiting for the right moment to rise against him. And now I see that moment has come. I see great potential in you, Aric. Together, we can restore Eldoria to its former glory." Elara took Aric under his wing, teaching him the ways of magic and combat. The training was hard and required immense discipline. Aric learned to harness his emotions, channeling them into his spells. Elara taught him the acts of elemental magic, healing and enchantment, as well as the secrets of ancient combat techniques. The Whispering Woods, with its ancient trees and hidden grooves, became their training ground. Aric learned to listen to the whispers of the forest, drawing strength and wisdom from nature itself. Elara also taught him about the history of Eldoria, the rise of Malgath, and the true extent of the king's evil. Days turned into months and months into years, and Aric grew both in strength and wisdom. He also learned about the Resistance, a network of brave souls who had been fighting against Malgath in secret. Elara introduced Aric to the key members of the Resistance, and together they devised a plan to overthrow the evil king. Aric's bravery and determination inspired others to join the Resistance. Villagers, farmers, and even some of the king's former soldiers flocked to their cause. The Resistance operated in the shadows, striking at the Blackguards, freeing prisoners, and spreading hope among the oppressed. One of the Resistance key allies was Elara, a skilled archer and hunter from the Whispering Woods. She had lost a family to Malgath's cruelty and had vowed to see him defeated. Elara and Aric formed a close bond, united by their spare purpose and determination. Together, they led daring raids against the Blackguards, their successes fueling the Resistance momentum. As the Resistance grew, so did Malgath's paranoia. He intensified his efforts to root out the rebels, employing spies and informants to uncover their plans. The Blackguard became more ruthless, and the stakes grew higher. But Aric and his ally pressed on, their resolves unshaken. One night, Elara shared with Aric an ancient prophecy he had discovered in the royal archives. The prophecy spoke of a hero who would rise from humble beginnings to defeat a great evil and restore peace to the land. Elara believed that Aric was the hero foretold in the prophecy. The prophecy also speaks of a great sacrifice Elara wanted. To defeat Malgath, you must be prepared to give everything, even your life. Aric nodded calmly, understanding the gravity of the task ahead. "I am ready," he said. "For the sake of Eldoria and its people, I will do whatever it takes." The resistance devised a bold plan to infiltrate Malgath's fortress and confront him directly. It was a risky mission, but it was their only hope. They gathered intelligence, mapped out the fortress, and trained tirelessly for the impending battle. The plan was to strike during the annual Festival of Shadows, a grand event where Malgath showcased its power to the people. During the festival, the fortress would be heavily guarded, but it would also provide the perfect distraction for the resistance to infiltrate. As the day of the festival approached, tension filled the air. Aric, Elara, Leora, and their allies prepared for what would be the most critical battles of their lives. They knew that failure meant certain death, but also that victory would bring freedom to Eldoria. The Festival of Shadows was a spectacle of dark magic and intimidation. Malgath sat on his throne, reveling in the fear and adulation of his subjects. The fortress was a heap of activity, with guards patrolling every corner and sorcerers performing sinister rituals. Under the cover of night, the resistance made their moves. Aric, Elara, and Leora, and selected groups of fighters infiltrated the fortress, moving swiftly and silently through the quiet halls. They encountered firm resistance from the blackguards, but their training and determination saw them through. As they approached the throne room, the air grew thick with dark energy. The final confrontation was at hand. Aric's heart pounded with anticipation, but he sealed himself, knowing that the fate of Eldoria rested on his shoulders. The throne room was a cavernous chamber filled with an oppressive aura. Malgath sat upon his throne, his eyes gleaming with malevolence. "So, the rebels dare to challenge me," he said. "You are fools to think you can defeat me." Aric stepped forward, his sword gleaming in the dim light. "Your reign of terror ends today, Malgath. For too long, you have oppressed and tormented the people of Eldoria. No more shall you torment them." Malgath laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the chamber. "You are but a child, Aric. You cannot hope to match my powers." The battle that ensued was a clash of titanic forces. Malgath unleashed his dark magic, summoning storms and shadows to attack Aric and his allies. But Aric, drawing upon his training and inner strength, conquered the spell with the special power of light and protection. Elara and Leora fought bravely at his side, their combined forces pushing Malgath to his limits. As the battle raged on, Malgath's power began to work. Desperation failed his attacks, but Aric and his ally pressed on. In a final desperate move, Malgath summoned a dark vortex, tending to consume them all. Aric knew that this was the moment the prophecy had foretold. With the urge of determination, Aric channeled all his energy into a simple, powerful spell. Light erupted from his hands, clashing with the darkness. The forces of light and dark controlled and struggled against each other. The room filled with blinding radiance and consuming shadows. In a final ironic act, Aric sacrificed himself, pouring his life force into the spell. The light overcame the darkness, shattering Malgath's power and consuming the Tyrant in a blending explosion. Throne room trembled as the dark magic dissipated, leaving behind only quiet silence. The fortress felt quiet as the remaining blackguards, leaderless, demoralized, surrendered. The people of Eldoria, hearing of Malgath's defeat, rejoiced. The dark clouds that had hung over the kingdom began to clear, and sunlight bathed the land in a warm and golden glow. Elara, Leora, and the resistance mourned the loss of Aric, their brave hero, but they also knew that his sacrifice had brought freedom and hope to Eldoria. They carried his body to the Whispering Woods, where he was led to rest beneath an ancient tree, a symbol of his enduring legacy. With Malgath gone, Eldoria began to heal. The people elected a new ruler, a wise and just leader, who guided the kingdom into a new era of peace and prosperity. The resistance debased, its members returning to their lives, but always ready to protect their homeland. Aric's story became legends, passed down through generations. He was remembered as the boy who rose up against a tyrant king, a hero who sacrificed everything for his people. His bravery and selflessness inspired others, ensuring that the light of hope and justice would never be extinguished. The kingdom of Eldoria, once shrouded in darkness, became a beacon of hope and light, and the tale of Aric, the brave boy who defied a sorcerer king, lived on in the hearts and mind of the people, a testament to the enduring power of courage and victory of good over evil.